Hello and welcome to your weekly tarot card reading. My name is Kate. I'm also known as the Daily Tarot Girl. And for this week's reading, I am going to be reading with the Tarot of the Abyss by Tourain. So before I dive into this week's reading, I just want to let you know that I am a part of something called Tarot Summer School this year. So Tarot Summer School runs all summer long, and it's 12 teachers, and we've created 12 unique online courses, and you can choose to get a season's pass and get all courses included, or you can pick and choose what courses interest you. So I have a course called Tarot Reading for Rebels that I'm really excited about. I'm going to put the link below if you want to check this out and if you want to sign up. Okay, so first card that we have for the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday-ish, is the Three of Swords. Now, I should say that my intention with this reading is always to just get some fresh ideas for a week ahead and get kind of an idea of the upcoming opportunities and energies that lie ahead. So Three of Swords is for the beginning of the week. And this is a really interesting depiction of the Three of Swords. Okay, we see someone is looking at a book. There's all these letters that are flying off the page. His head is open, and it's almost like, are the letters flying off the page into his head, or are they coming out of his head and onto the page? It's hard to tell. Now, traditionally, the Three of Swords is a card of sorrow and heartbreak, but it's also about kind of being in your own head and the role that we play in almost creating our own anguish and heartbreak. Things can happen that are heartbreaking and upsetting, but then sometimes our mind gets in there and makes it so much worse. Our minds are very good at crafting a narrative, and sometimes we will craft these stories and narratives in our heads that might be true or untrue, or varying degrees of truth and untruth, but we'll craft these stories that can cause a lot of anguish and pain. So with this card, what I'm looking at, I'm getting a couple of different messages. Okay, so the first message I get is that the beginning of the week is actually a good time to process any feelings of whether it be heartbreak, inner turmoil, mental anguish, emotional pain, and processing those various feelings, if they're coming up for you, processing them through writing. So I'm really drawn with the book that he's holding, and it's almost like these three swords kind of are like a placeholder, but I also see them as being like writing instruments, and the need to put something down on paper to get something onto the page. Sometimes writing is a way to get something that's inside of you, like in your mind, get it out of your head and onto the page. It can be a very powerful way to release something. And after you've written it down, you can then destroy what you've written if you want to or not. But that's the first thing I get here with the Three of Swords. If you're struggling with something, if you have these feelings of anguish or pain, or even just overwhelm or anxiety, using the power of writing to get what's in your head or in your heart and get it down onto the page as a way of releasing it or processing it and kind of figuring things out and moving forward. So that's the first thing I get. The other thing I get is I feel like some of us may be extra suggestible at the beginning of the week. So I'm really drawn to how his head is open. It's like it's been cut open. And to me, that is a symbol of he's so open-minded that he's actually vulnerable to suggestion. So it's good to be open-minded, but you don't want to be so open-minded that you don't question anything and that anyone can just come and put ideas into your head and you're going to believe them. So if you're an open-minded individual, it's a really good time at the beginning of this, especially the beginning of this week, to go into the week with an open mind, but don't be uncritical. Don't have a totally uncritical mind. Don't be so open-minded that you don't question things. Okay, let's look at the next card. This card is for the middle of the week, so kind of Wednesday, Thursday-ish, and we have a reversal. So I actually chose randomly, without looking at the cards, I chose 13 cards, 12 or 13 cards in the deck, and I reversed them and then shuffled them back in. And so this is one of them. So this is the King of Pentacles reversed. So I have to read the card upright first, and then I'll read it reversed. So King of Pentacles is a very rooted, very stable, grounded card. It's a card of like practicality. The King of Pentacles is he's very good at grounding himself and coming from this place of, being sensible, being practical, and building things on a very firm foundation. Now, because it is reversed, and I'm just noticing in his hand, he's holding the mountains that are in the background. So again, that goes to that, it's like a symbol of building something on a foundation. So building on that firm foundation. And so it's almost like he's holding these mountains in his hand, and it's like he had to create what's behind him. Like his surroundings were created by him slowly, gradually over time. But his secret to success is building on a firm, stable foundation, rooted in reality, rooted in practicality, but he's upside down. So what is his message here? I think that this week, particularly as we get to the middle of the week, we might struggle a little bit to feel grounded, and you may be getting ideas or inspiration, but none of it feels like it's coming from a place of groundedness or stability. So that's the challenge of this week, is to find our footing and to build on a solid foundation. So we might struggle to do that this week. So let's look and see what the next card is, because I want to say more about this reversed king, but I kind of want to know what the last card is. All right. Page of Cups. So the pages are learning, they're figuring things out. They're the youngest of all the court cards. And this particular Page of Cups, I'm just going to bring him a little closer so we can really see what's going on here. Okay, I'm actually just going to bring it right up to my face. It looks like I don't know what is going on here. Is this a map that he's looking at? I'm not sure. He's got the cup raised above his hand. Kind of looks like it's a map, and he's trying to figure out where to go. What really strikes me, though, is that the background is very tumultuous. And I actually don't think of the Page of Cups as being in this like tumultuous sea. I almost think of like Page of Swords as more kind of like that. But in this particular deck, we have the Page of Cups. It's like he's trying to figure out where to go, but the sea around him is raging. So this really goes with what I said about the King of Pentacles. It's like you're trying to figure out where you're going, what you're going to do, but it doesn't feel like you have a solid base from which you can do that in a meaningful way. So, and even the Three of Swords feels unstable. All of these cards are unstable. This is a very unstable week. There's a lot of moving parts here. You might feel kind of mentally pulled in different directions. Emotionally, you may feel like things are kind of tumultuous. Physically, it might feel like there's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot to contend with. So I think that this week, the wisdom that I can offer for this week is like, just kind of embrace the chaos. Embrace the fact that things aren't grounded. They're not stable. Things are moving, and there is a beauty in that. It can sometimes be exhausting and disorienting, but there's a certain charm to it. There's a certain beauty in things being all kind of roughed up and up in the air. Things will land eventually. Things will smooth over. Things will come back down to earth eventually, hopefully by the next week. Hopefully we won't be in this up in the air state for too long. But things will come back down eventually. And I think that trying to find stability and groundedness this week might prove to be impossible and really frustrating if you try for that. So I think what I'm getting here is things may be very up in the air. Things might be kind of unstable this week. Three of Swords says that writing can be a practice that helps you get centered. So that's important. It's important to have, I think, certain practices and things you can do in these times of chaos where you feel like everything is all over the place. It's nice to have certain activities that you can do that might help you get a bit of a sense of peace, even if everything is chaotic around you. So writing is the big one. Let's see what else. With the King of Pentacles, he's literally upside down. And I just think of how calming it is sometimes to lie with my feet up the wall, my legs up the wall. So not totally upside down, but my legs will be kind of upside down. There's something very calming and soothing about that pose. It's actually a yoga pose and I forget what it's called. I just call it legs up the wall. But if I'm really stressed and I'm like, I've been doing a lot and going full tilt, I find that this pose can really help me kind of center myself and calm down. So that's the other thing I get. And then Page of Cups, I think he's looking at a map. At first I thought that this was a giant crab and that he was about to smash it with this cup. That was actually my first impression. And I didn't want that to be the case. So then I was like, oh, it's probably a map. But I always teach people to go with their first impression. So I feel like I should do the same. So let's look at it that way. If this was a crab and he was about to smash it with his cup, what's going on? That crab could be a symbol of kind of protecting yourself with a shell. And he's about to kind of smash that. So there's almost a... what would I call this? There's a certain vulnerability with this. It's like smashing your armor, kind of getting rid of that armor. And I don't really know where to take that. I'm not sure where to go with that. But it feels like trying to wear armor, trying to protect yourself, trying to make things stable and solid this week might backfire. So that might actually cause more of a sense of chaos and ungroundedness if you kind of try to go against the tide. Okay, so feel free to jump in and share your own take on these cards and let me know what part of this resonated with you. Okay, so that has been your weekly tarot card reading. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kate, also known as the Daily Tarot Girl. And if you want to learn more about tarot cards and tarot card reading, I'm going to link my site below. My site has lots of fun tarot learning resources for you to play around with, lots of videos, lots of worksheets and exercises and tarot spreads. So be sure to check it out. Thank you for watching and have a good week.